we see a sustained, fairly wide shot of the water. And maybe the music of Popol Vuh is on the soundtrack, creating this amazing marriage, which is so emblematic of all your work of sound and image, music and image. And this shot keeps lasting, and it's wonderful. And then, extraordinarily, I think the film cuts to a tighter shot of the water, which then plays and plays and plays. Why did you do that? What led you to that moment? I have a theory.
It's very hard to verbalize this, but I was very fascinated by these raging waters of Urubamba River. It's just right down below Machu Picchu. And I filmed it, and I asked the cinematographer, hold the shot, hold the shot. This is so violent, this is so incredible, and I knew I would use it in the film, which I did, out of any proportion. You have the information of the river raging down there and boiling in rage. And yet, although we understand the image within 2 seconds, the shot is held more than a minute. For a while I thought I would have opening credits over it, and then I decided, no, they must not be over this. I just hold it and I prepare the audience for something out of proportion, for human beings that are completely crazed in their insane dreams of power, and it's going to be something, a fever dream in the jungle which is completely out of proportion. Many serious people who are working in the industry tell me, this is miscut and misedited, you should have made it much shorter. And I said, no, I do it as it is, and it's fine.
First I was trying to, and I love that explanation, and at first I was trying to understand why this moment of cinema moved me so much and had such a, really within the context of watching film, such a profound impact on me, and why I loved that it kept going on, even though I didn't exactly understand why that was. And I eventually moved from that. I noticed that I started trying to hold shots longer and longer in my own work and never achieving this kind of magic. But I then moved to trying to figure out, why did the filmmaker, why did Herzog do this? My explanation is that because this group of humans arrives at this river upon which they will all meet their death. So there's nothing more important than this water and this river. And once upon it,
right. Yeah, but sometimes these things, there is something obvious that everyone notices, but very often things are very subtle. And they cannot be really explained. For example, when at the end it's pure fever dreams, and they see a brigantine in the treetop, 30 meters, 90 feet high up there, and no flood can have washed it that high. And then all of a sudden, one of the men on board receives an arrow that hits him in the leg. And he just looks at it and he says,
long arrows are coming back in fashion.
Well, that's another moment, but yes, and he's shot with an arrow, and before they were shot by little darts from blow pipes. All of a sudden, one is shot by an arrow that is 6 feet long and goes in and out on the other side, and he grabs the arrow calmly and he looks along this shaft of the arrow and he says, the long arrows are coming into fashion. Yes. And then he dies, he falls over and is dead. So, but this subtle, strange moment prepares you for the most inconceivable. It opens, all of a sudden the audience is ready to accept the most inconceivable, and sometimes it's very, very subtle and very strange how, for example, there's a clear orientation of movement. You have the feeling, yes, they are moving towards El Dorado, but somehow imperceptibly we lose orientation and they lose orientation. How this is done is very, very subtle and very well thought through. And the same I keep wondering about your films, how, for example, you establish very subtle, in very, very subtle way, something that is complete and utter primal fear. I've never been scared so deeply, like, for example, in The Silence of the Lambs. I've never been scared as this, and you can't scare me easily.
I believe that. I can't respond to that.
No, but well, I give the answer instead of you.
Thank you.
We are just professional men who know how to handle cinema. And we have learned it the hard way, through lots of defeats, and that's what made us into what we are. I'm a result of defeats.
Thank you.